Stress. You and I both experience it, Slick. But today, we're not going to be talking about the stress caused by life. Today, we're going to be talking about shear and normal stress. The difference, we can visualize it simply with a marker. Normal stress is a stress caused by normal forces, typically resulting from tension or compression. And we can see that will either make things longer or shorter in length. Shear stress, it's like a tearing force. It's a force that's going to be parallel to our cross section. This then creates the shear stress as it tries to make layers slide past each other. Normal stress pulls or pushes straight in. It stretches or shortens the material. Shear stress just changes the shape. Typically, the corners get pushed out of square, if that makes any sense. Stress is just a measure of how intense a force is. Shear and normal stress, well, they just feel that intensity at different directions. You could stop the video by simply knowing that stress gets denoted by the symbol sigma equaling F, the force, over area. And yes, that is stress. But if you really want to learn it, stick around as we dive deep into the whiteboard. Normal stress is denoted as sigma equaling P over A, or sigma equaling N over A. It's a nice little symbol too, sigma. It just reminds me of ligma. So thinking about our marker again, this thin little layer, well, that is simply the cross-sectional area that we plug into this equation. Now, the force, well, that is going to be the normal force that's either in tension or compression. And this example is in tension. So this is me pulling this marker. And what we plug in up here, it's going to be whatever that magnitude of that force is. Shear stress, well, that is denoted by the Greek letter tau. I call it the Thor letter. And that is equal to V over A for a single shear. And for a double shear, well, that is going to be our Thor equaling V over 2A. Now, that is our shear and our normal stress. And we can see why people simply end up remembering, because what is all this? Well, these are all just forces. So people end up just remembering F over A. And where is that V then, or that N coming from? Well, you know this. Go back to beams. Imagine we have this beam. I wish I could show you a beam, but I don't have one. We cut that. We look at our the internal forces inside that beam again. Well, those same forces, it's going to experience a normal, it's going to experience a moment, and it's going to experience that shear force, that V. And that is where that is coming from. And hopefully that also helps you visualize what's the difference between them. So we know that if we pull this marker from both ends, that creates normal stress. The plastic inside is stretching. And we can calculate that stress by using our sigma equals N over A. Or you can start to think about this as simply being sigma equals to the force divided by A. Now we're given our force. This marker is experiencing a force of 30 newtons in tension. Now the area is not given to us. We're only given the diameter of our cross-sectional area. Now our cross-sectional area, well, that's a circle. And our area for a circle is simply pi r squared. Well, we're given our diameter. Well, simply recall that r is the same as our diameter divided by 2. And you square both sides and you end up with diameter squared over 4. So all we have to do is plug it in to our equation d squared times pi. And that ends up being 0.015 squared over 4 times pi. And that is simply 1.77 times 10 to the negative 4th meters squared. Now our force is 30 Newton, so all we have to do is plug it into our equation, and we end up with 30 divided by 1.77 times 10 to the negative 4 meters squared, and we end up with 169.5 kilopascals. So now shear stress. Now we have our marker, and we're pushing with 5 newtons of force downwards. And we know that this is the shear stress, the force is trying to slide the cap across the body, right? We use the same formula structure, but we instead call it Tau equals V over A, or force over A, right? Notice this arrow. This arrow essentially signifies that the material is resistant with an equal and opposite upward force. That is the internal shear resistance. Okay, I just wanted to make that clear. Now, we knew that the area was going to be pi times the diameter squared over 4, which was the same as 1.77 times 10 to the negative 4 m squared. Now, plugging in our area and our force into our equation, we end up with 5 over 1.77 times 10 to the negative 4 m squared Newton. That is the same as 28.25 kilopascals. So Tau here is the same as 28.25 kilopascals. And there you have it. It is as simple as that.